Hello, and thank you for listening to Jollyville Radio on KJVR. My name is Jimmy Pykrust, and it is my honor to welcome you to the first ever bingo episode of Jollyville Radio. If you'd like to play along for the chance to hear your name called on Jollyville Radio, you can request a free bingo card at jollyvilleproductions.com/bingo. Also in today's episode, we have a segment of History Chats with Amelia Earhart and a special message from Jollyville Parks and Wildlife. On Community Beat, UncleASAR interviews Ginger Rosenthal, founder of the Blue Nebraska Foundation. It's time for bingo! Everybody get your cards out and get ready to play along!
Alrighty-dighty. This is Carrie Gardner here for the first set of bingo numbers. Everyone ready? Babe and sis, you ready? Everyone have your bingo cards ready? Well, the first set of numbers are I-17, O-74, G-54. Woohoo! It's time for a sponsor break, but stay tuned for more bingo.
It's almost time for Jollyville's 21st annual craft fair. This is sure to be the craziest, jolliest ever. From Aunt Susie's hand-knitted pie cleaners to Skylar Frazier's award-winning apple butter to demonstrations by the DIY expert Paul Fredrickson of Better Call Paul. This is the one craft fair you won't want to miss. Watch for details coming soon.
Do you love a relaxing bubble bath but hate when the bubbles disappear so quickly? Never fear! Malakoff Bubble Bath Factory's Bubble Frenzy is here. Our bubbles are not only bigger than the competition, but they'll last 10 times as long. Coming soon to a store near you.
Proudly announcing the all-new set of bingo numbers. I-26, B-11, O-75. This has been a special presentation by the designer, Robert Cheerful. Bingo was his name.
I'm Julia Stonewash. This is KJVR Jollyville Radio, and you're listening to History Chats, where we bring in famous people every week and let our listeners ask them questions. This week, our listeners will know this person as someone who literally has their head in the clouds. It's Amelia Earhart. Amelia, thanks for flying in. How are you today?
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
How about we hear from our first caller, Jensen Mutton? You're on the air.
Being a war hero is so dope. What was it like to be a night witch and shooting down the enemy from planes in the Second World War?
I attempted to fly around the world, but I never fought in a war. There was a Second World War?
Oh, that's right. Your plane went down in 1937. Do you remember all that talk about Germany? So that became a thing. I'll fill you in later.
Oh.
Next caller, Kitty Westlake, you're on the air.
Oh, but didn't your plane crash? How in the world are you here?
Come again?
This is History Chats. This is exactly how the show works. Do you not know that?
Oh, yes, but no one can find you, Amelia Earhart. So how the hell are you here?
Yes. One day I was refueling my plane, and this woman approaches me. Turns out it's Julia, asking me to be on this radio show. Once I was convinced this time machine was real and not some crazy woman trying to rob me, well, I was all in.
You took a surprisingly long time. You're good. Nothing gets past you.
Your survival skills become pretty sharp when you spend a lot of time alone in the middle of nowhere.
I can imagine. Howard McNeil, you're on the air, and no pressure, but please, have a real question.
Yes, Ms. Earhart, thank you. Now, I need to know when the Titanic was sinking and you were laying on that piece of wood, why didn't you make room for Jack? I mean, there was clearly enough room.
I wasn't on the Titanic. I was in high school at the time. I flew planes. Who's Jack?
I am so sorry. There's so many things wrong with this. I don't even know where to begin. I'll explain that in a bit too, because with that, this concludes our show. Amelia, thank you for joining us. I think it's time to buckle up and prepare for takeoff, because this chat sure hasn't been a drag. For KJVR in Jollyville, I'm Julia Stonewash. We'll see you next time on History Chats.
Well, hello, everyone out there in Radio Land. This is Kitty calling the numbers tonight. You having any fun yet? Get those game bombs ready. The next numbers are 072, G55, and I-21. Ta-ta now.
Jollyville, it's me, Harry LeChat, wildlife adventure specialist with Jollyville Parks and Wildlife. And I'm here to tell you about an issue very near and dear to my heart, and that is safety in the outdoors. Lately, we've been receiving a lot of reports about wild chinchilla-ferret hybrid animals attacking local community members. I have one of these folks, my new friend Stan, here to talk to us now.
One day, I was walking along in Floral Park, minding my own business, eating a kolache, when all of a sudden...
It's okay, Stan. Tell the nice people what happened.
It took my kolache.
Oh, it took the kolache. It was a vicious attack, wasn't it, Stan? Did you get hurt?
Well, I screamed and turned to run away, but then I tripped.
And that's when it pounced on you?
No, I just dropped my kolache in some dirt. It didn't actually touch me.
Harrowing stuff, Jollyville. We really need to keep our wits about us these days. Nobody knows quite where these monsters came from, but I have another local resident with me today who also saw one in person. Tell us what you saw, Anderson Millingsley.
Thanks, but you can call me Anderson. I was going to my car, but then a furchilla came out of nowhere and started sniffing me.
Mon Dieu, that sounds terrifying.
Oh, well, I guess.
And just how large was this beast?
Probably about 7 or 8 inches tall.
I'm sure you mean 7 or 8 feet?
No, I genuinely considered putting it in my backpack and taking it home. It seemed like it would make the perfect pet if you could tame it.
You are a braver man than I, Anderson Millingsley.
It's just Anderson.
Next, let's hear from Jollyville cross-country coach Charles about how this has impacted the team.
I'm sorry. How what has impacted the team?
The infestation of wild ferret chinchilla hybrids.
Oh, the furchillas? I'm not sure. I guess I've been seeing more of them out on the trails.
Don't their teeming multitudes get in your way?
Not particularly. I'm usually practicing mindfulness meditation while I run. Is this all you wanted me for?
Yes, thank you, Coach Charles. And good luck on the meet next week. Finally, we have Peggy Brekker, a poor, innocent soul whose guardian has been devastated by these creatures. What can you share with us?
Oh, well, I love it. These little boogers cook up real nice. I'm trying to sell my recipe for furchilla stew to Little Appalachian Soup Bar.
Do you have anything you'd like to say out there to any other gardeners who might be losing hope in the fight against furchillas?
Nah. Oh, well, if you catch any, bring them on back.
My fellow residents, rest assured that Jollyville Parks and Wildlife is doing all we can to keep you safe from this invasive species. Thank you for listening. I'm Harry LeChat. Stay safe out there.
Well, ski! Jensen Button here, and it's time for the bingo. N44 and G56. Anybody got a bingo yet? Just a reminder, you can get a free bingo card at jollyvilleproductions.com/bingo. Winners get to hear their name announced live on KJVR, Jollyville Radio. Oh, and one more. G59. Ski!
Going live in 10, 9, ampersand, Octothorpe. That's what they call a hashtag now. It used to be a pound sign. This is Jollyville Community Beat with UncleASAR, turning the spotlight on good people doing great work in the real world. Broadcasting from our Purple Street studio, AKA a Zoom call, we have Ginger Rosenthal, founder of Blue Nebraska in Fremont, Nebraska, helping Nebraskans in times of struggle via the arts, nutrition, and education. Ginger Rosenthal, how are you? And welcome to Community Beat.
I'm wonderful. How are you tonight?
I'm good. Ginger, talk to us about your programming at Blue Nebraska.
Well, in a nutshell, we were born out of the flood of 2019 in Nebraska. That was really big and devastating. We saw that there was a need for help above and beyond what state and government entities could do. So we tried to do a really big, fantastic fundraiser that got rained out. So then we tried to reschedule it. And then the people who were supposed to be the headliners pulled out. And at that point, we realized, okay, we need to keep this more grassroots, which ended up beautiful because you had people more intimately involved, donating their money and their time to help give money back to some of the smaller communities or locals who still didn't have air conditioners or had walls torn out, no insulation, no windows, etc.
Now, the name Blue Nebraska, I know the Cornhuskers wear red. Where did the name Blue Nebraska come from?
I got stuck on this blue thing. My first business was the Blue Bottle Coffee House. That came about because I'm Polish. I named it after a Polish adventurer and spy from Vienna who opened a coffee house. Then when I went into yoga, it became the Blue Yoga Studio. So when we went into the nonprofit, Blue Nebraska made sense. When COVID hit and I actually got a break, I hadn't really taken a break for 18 years. I'd have a vacation for a couple days or a day off. And this was like months. I realized I need to teach the way I want. And if they don't like it, then I guess I'm not supposed to be here. And that's kind of where the nonprofit came into play too, because when the flood hit, you saw so many people caught up in the politics of it. And then you saw the rest of the nation not caring that Nebraska a lot of our area was underwater. So when that developed, it was kind of like yoga and that went hand in hand because they could complement each other where they fell off.
Ginger, has the local community been receptive towards yoga and alternative ways of healing and things like that?
You know, it's been intermittent and interesting. At some point, they have shunned it or not understood it or been a little nervous about it. But then on the other hand, whether it's been because of a doctor's recommendation, a friend's referral, or something they saw on TV or a sitcom, they've welcomed it and been able to see the benefits of clean eating, relaxing, moving the body in a way that's intentional. So it kind of goes back and forth, which can be trying at times, but also it's encouraging because you know you're growing. You see people evolve, you see the community change.
Okay. Now you mentioned funding. Are you privately funded? Do you get any federal funds or what does your staff look like? How do you pay them?
As far as the nonprofit, it's myself and 2 other board members. We basically volunteer our time. We apply for grants, we take donations to help pay for overhead. And then at the end of the year, if there's money left, we try to find someone who needs help and make a donation. Through COVID, we've been donating to different entities that have been struggling or trying to support music venues. We did quite a few live broadcasts of musicians from their backyards and then paid the musicians because they couldn't perform. So trying to do some different things like that.
What can you tell us about your presence on the web in case someone wants to make a monetary donation? And I think I may move to Nebraska. You have these backyard concerts going on.
Yeah, just wait till after May. It's too cold. If they want to find us on the web, the best way is to find us on our website. That is embraceyourway.com. We're also on Facebook under the Blue Yoga Studio and Wellness Center or Blue Nebraska Foundation. We don't do a ton of social media. We're heavier on the website. We're working on developing a YouTube channel that would be under Blue Nebraska Foundation. And I'm also working on a personal podcast that will be called Permission Slips that will tie in with some of the people that we interview through the foundation as well.
Ginger Rosenthal, we appreciate you talking with us and we wish you the best of the best.
Thank you so much. It was great speaking with you.
This has been Jollyville Community Beat with UncleASAR, and dig this. No one can do everything, but everyone can do something. Peace. Hey, this is Jollyville Radio Bingo Edition. Ginger, give us our next numbers, please.
Are you ready? Your first number combination being B as in bird, 15. Second, N as in nightshade, 37. O as in octopus, 63.
The cast and creative team behind Jollyville Radio includes UncleASAR Al-Kabelon, Emily Ansonik, Justin Carter, Michael Crosa, Michelle Darcy, Richard Dayries, Brian Green, Alan Kay, Pilar Keperda, Robert Leary, Thomas Schlitt, Michael Stanley, Matt Waite, and Kay Wise. Lead editing by Dr. Montse Santillan, with social media help by Emily Ansonik. Directed by Michael Crosa. The recording was made in accordance with social distancing. Special appearance by Bob Dawn of the Bob Short Story Hour and Hidden Oaks podcast. If you're enjoying Jollyville Radio, consider supporting us on Patreon. For a small monthly pledge, you can have a big impact on the success of the show. Plus, depending on your pledge, you can get bonuses like access to the script archives, letters from characters, and even a chance to hear your own voice on the show. Just go to patreon.com and search for Jollyville Radio. Jollyville Radio is a production of Jollyville Brass Quintet, member of Austin Creative Alliance. We are based in Austin, Texas. For KJVR in Jollyville, I'm Jimmy Pykrust. We'll see you next time on Jollyville Radio.
You have reached the voicemail box of
Sean Parmer.
Please leave a message after the tone.
Hey, Sean, I got your message, and I don't think you're supposed to be able to wear your right shoe on the left foot, so I wouldn't try. See ya.